Hi guys, my name is Taty. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I talk about theatre, beauty, fashion, and basically whatever the fuck I want. And today, considering it's Black History Month in the UK, I thought I'd talk about my favorite black media influences. Mainly TV shows, because if I do music as well, we're gonna be here for fucking ever. So let's get into it. Also, I know I look a little dusty right now. I thought these twists were gonna be temporary, just for like a day or two. But I didn't have time to do my hair before my recall, so I'm just gonna have to firm it. I don't know when this is gonna change. I also could not be asked to do my makeup. Also, I'm breaking out a little bit, so, give me a bit of grace, guys. These movies, TV shows, everything have had such a role in developing who I am as a person and my core values and why I am the way I am. So if you think I'm strange, blame it on Nollywood, just saying. So first things first, we're gonna get started on a channel called Trouble. So Trouble was on Virgin Media and it was a subscription service and it was aimed towards teens and adolescents, and it was mainly American and Australian TV shows. Trouble was one of my first points of contact with Black media because they had such a great catalogue of Black American sitcoms. So that's when I was first introduced to Girlfriends, One on One, My Wife and Kids, like Fresh Prince, and those TV shows have genuinely formulated who I am. I think my sense of humor comes from those shows because they're so brilliantly written, but they're also so undeniably Black. I remember the first time I watched Fresh Prince my entire childhood. The episode when Will's dad comes back and then he leaves.
Do my first day without him, right? I learned how to drive, I learned how to shave, I learned how to fight without him. I had 14 great birthdays without him. How come he don't want me, man?
That relationship, it was the first time I'd ever seen my home relationship portrayed on screen, and the exact feelings that I had dealt with. The first time I'd ever seen someone portray exactly how I felt. It was groundbreaking. The first Aunt Viv, Janet, oh my God, seeing a dark-skinned woman be elegant and educated and beautiful and multifaceted, because she was also a dancer and all these things, and seeing this woman who is also so secure in herself panic about turning 40, I think it was, or 50. They just existed in themselves, and that's what I really appreciate. Like My Wife and Kids, when Junior got Vanessa pregnant. What? Because that is something that all communities experience, but I think stereotypically is something that is associated with the Black experience or Black people, that we get pregnant super young. Because of racism, lovely. Because that was one of the first times you go, oh, this is really serious. And you saw them work it out, and not in a way that was aggressive, and not in a way that it was all loving. Girlfriends, Jesus Christ, Girlfriends, seeing 4 Black women unapologetically live their lives, make mistakes.
We all love Jamboree. Jamal is a very wise young man.
Date, do all these things that regular Black women do, but just on the screen, was monumental to me. And I don't think I realized it because I was shown so much Black media as a child. But now in hindsight, it's crazy that, Tracee Ellis Ross was I loved Joan. And you got Tony, who is a dark-skinned woman who was dating outside of her race, and she married a tiny Jewish white guy. And you've got Lynn, who just wanted to keep learning. And there are so many aspects of these women and these people that have influenced me, because their writing is phenomenal. You've got families like the Wayans, who, seeing a family like that, I think there's 7 of them, a black family all working in entertainment and creating, and it's all incredibly funny, well-written things. So intelligent. Like, these are the same guys that were white chicks, and I will hear no white chick slander. It is genuinely one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen. It is cinema. But Trouble also had Desmond's, and Desmond's was groundbreaking in a whole different way because it was a black British family. It was about a Guyanese family who had come over during the Windrush generation, and they had settled down in Peckham and they opened a barbershop. And that was beautiful to me because everything I had been shown was the black experience from an American perspective, which is completely valid, but very different to what I also experienced as a black British person. And so seeing what black British people go through is just so funny. If there's one thing I can tell you to take from this video, please watch Desmond's. It is genuinely one of the best shows. And you had Shirley and Desmond, who were older parents, and it was not like they were like 15 and just not, they were like grown people who had made the active decision to come to England to better their lives for their children. I had a similar thing. My grandma was in her 40s, and my mum moved when she was 9, and my grandma moved to England with her children so that they could have a better life and better education and all these things. So it was like I had seen in real life what my family had gone through, different continent but same things and very similar experience. And you've got, you know, they had a white guy named Tony working in the shop like a hairstylist, and they kind of welcomed him with open arms. And their daughter Gloria, her best friend was white, and they loved her. And it captured also the nuance of wanting to go back home. I think that is something that I don't see represented in American TV shows because a lot of them are black Americans. Whereas in Desmond's, there was this desire from Desmond and Shirley to go back to Guyana and go back home and be with their people, be back with the things that they know. And that is very much something that my family experienced. My grandma loved Ghana. I have an auntie, my auntie Vicky. We call her Miko Mikrum because she's constantly saying she's gonna go home, and she means it. And I think there's the nuance of coming to a country for the betterment of your children, but knowing you want to go back home, and this yearning for going back to your roots and everything that you know. And I think it genuinely was that channel was phenomenal for my development as a child. So now we're gonna go on to my favorite topic, which is Nollywood/Gollywood. I say both because I was raised watching both, so they're kind of interchangeable for me. If you don't know what Nollywood or Gollywood is, it is the Ghanaian and Nigerian entertainment world. It's the movies they make. Nollywood is a fever dream, but I can't say it hasn't made me who I am because, first of all, the drama.
What the hell? What about God? You slapped me, you monkey! Marry me.
Nollywood, the production value is very different to what you are usually expecting from Hollywood. With that being said, I think it's almost more entertaining. It's the use of special effects. It's the use of costume. They're wearing boots in 38-degree heat. Fur boots. I mean, eat bitch, but Jesus Christ. So in the last video, I told you guys my mom is Ghanaian. So my dad is Nigerian. And I didn't grow up with my dad. And so for a long time, Nollywood was the closest tether I had to my Nigerian heritage. We had Nigerian family friends and stuff, but it was like the example I had, and kind of it made me feel a bit closer to that part of myself because I was raised in a super Ghanaian household. Another beautiful thing about Nollywood is that they are in English, but you also have a plethora of Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa movies, and there's so many more dialects, obviously, because Africa, there are so many with it. I think even in Ghana, there's about 70 something dialects, but you had a plethora of languages, and within that, different cultures, different tribes, and different identities within the Nigerian experience that I learned about. I, to this day, I think this is Igbo. If something happened, my mom's like, oh, tomorrow you'll drop dead. And because I watched so much Nollywood, that became a genuine response, was something that there was no other way to describe what I was feeling. And obviously Gollywood, it was a way to get in touch with my Ghanaian side. Not that I needed help, but it was really affirming to hear Tree and Ga, and to kind of be connected with that linguistically, and also see my grandma watch this and feel connected to her culture because it's so far away, and kind of enjoy our film industry, because I think a lot of people think there's nothing in Africa, which I think is completely bizarre. But to see the creativity and the way people write stories and the way things, like, yes, the themes are maybe slightly different, the execution might be slightly different, but the creativity and the dedication to the level of art and the people making these things is phenomenal to see. This is really bad. When I was 7, so sometimes Nollywood has some quite intense topics. Cheating, divorce, juju. Juju was a big one. I'm terrified of juju. There are so many things, but when I was 7, we were in school and we had to do a creative writing project. And I think like the night before, or some point during that week, I had watched Nollywood film with my grandma, because we used to watch them every day, and at 7 o'clock there was a new one. And there was something that wasn't necessarily appropriate, but not inappropriate to see. So I wrote my story based on that. And it was about a woman who had found out her boyfriend had cheated on her, I think, and she'd had an abortion. And did she commit suicide or didn't she? But I know there was an abortion involved. And the school called my mother in and made her speak to the counselor and said, why does your 7-year-old know about abortion? And she went, I'm so sorry, my mother watches a lot of Nollywood with her. It was one of those things that, like, it had influenced me so much as a child that I literally was like, this is brilliant, this is creative writing, this is a masterpiece. And I stand by it. Also, seeing Black African women on TV 24/7 did wonders for me as a Black female presenting person, especially in the UK, because I have never felt insecure about my skin tone, ever. I'm not the lightest person, but I have never ever been ashamed of my skin tone being Black. Van Vicker, oh, imagine Michael Sharma. You had all these my mum loved Rita Dominic. And I also think people assume that Nollywood actors can't act or aren't very good at what they do. Went to RADA. Patience Azaka, that woman will put the fear of God into you. I found out John Okafor died earlier this year and I was in shock. I thought when I was doing research for this video, Mr. Ibu was like the Nigerian version of Mr. Bean. It really has so many different layers to it that I just don't think Hollywood can understand in a way. Because I think if people watch Nollywood, I've tried to show it to a few friends and they've gone, oh, what is happening? But it genuinely is an art form, because I don't think Hollywood could create something like that. It is its own entity. You've got like the city girls who used to be village girls and they dump their boyfriends. You've got the catchphrases. How could I forget catchphrases? Me, my mum, my siblings, constantly. What they call contability. And I can't tell you what Nollywood film it's from. I just know I say it constantly. I think it was Nkemo who said it. It's always Nkem. But literally, like, what they call contability. I don't think of any more right now. I just remembered another catchphrase. Toin tomato. You can obviously tell that I have had so much fun talking about my favorite Black media influences as a child. I would not be who I am without them. They also showed me that Black women can be performers. They can be actresses, they can be writers, they can be directors, they can do so many things within the entertainment industry that it never occurred to me that I couldn't do it, because I was constantly shown that I could. I cannot thank these women and men and people enough, because they have contributed to my life and my confidence and my love for my community so much. Because I used to be a really shy kid. I used to be super shy. Every time I say that, everyone goes, But like that's why my mom got me into dancing, so I could like make friends and like get more sociable. And then once I started talking, I couldn't stop. And I think a lot of people ask of me to dim it down. I think I'm a lot for a lot of people, but all these women have always shown me that you can be unapologetically yourself. You can be Black and loud and angry and happy and funny and aggressive and all these things, and none of those things are a bad thing. It's just part of the human experience. Just because you're a Black woman or a Black represented person doesn't mean you shouldn't experience any of those, or you should tone it down because people don't find it palatable. You're not meant to be palatable, you're meant to be yourself. I know this video was like super yappy. I think more yappy than I planned it to be, but I feel so strongly about these TV shows and movies. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We can have a chat about it in the comments. Let me know if you love Nollywood. I fucking love Nollywood. Super Story. I forgot to talk about Super Story. This is Super Story. So, bye. A whitey.